We've been tackling this challenge for years now. Some progress has been made. We've been making significant strides in our commitment to help 100,000 more infants, toddlers, and preschoolers to access childcare by building out those spaces. But we know that that's not enough. We need to do more, especially when it comes to the cost of childcare. So parents have said to us, you know, it's great that you're building 100,000 childcare spaces, but if we can't afford them, then it actually doesn't help us.
The Ontario Liberal government unveils its latest budget tomorrow, and we learned today it will include a plan to offer free daycare. The program would begin in 2020 and apply to children aged 2.5 until they're eligible for kindergarten. But it's not really free. It will cost taxpayers nearly $1 billion in the first fiscal year alone. Premier Kathleen Wynne says she's investing in the future, playing the long game. But is this not about short-term gain with an election looming, and can the province even afford it? Joining me now from Toronto is the minister responsible for early years and childcare, Indira Naidoo-Harris. Minister, thanks for your time today.
It's great to be here. I think it's a wonderful day, and I'm happy to be here.
Minister, your government has been in power for 15 years. Why is this a high priority now, just 2.5 months before an election?
So I have to tell you that I was appointed minister responsible for early years and childcare more than a year ago, so in 2016. And one of the things that I was asked to do when the Premier appointed me was to really transform the way we deliver childcare in the province. The first thing she asked me to do was set out by creating 100,000 new spots for children over 5 years, but also to transform the way we deliver childcare. And so when we rolled out our framework a few months after that, one of the things we put in there was an affordability study and also a workforce strategy. And those pieces have now finally come in. Dr. Gordon Cleveland did our affordability strategy and presented us with some options. And this option for free preschool childcare for children aged 2.5 to 4 years old was the piece that we felt would give families the most support and our young people the support that they need so that they can really have strong futures.
Your critics, of course, say that the timing is anything but coincidental, that this is about getting reelected. I want to air for our audience what PC leader Doug Ford said about this announcement and then get your reaction.
Sure.
I find it pretty ironic. 72 days before an election, the Premier comes out with this promise. She's crisscrossing the province, spending billions of dollars that she doesn't have. She's spending billions of dollars with other people's money. And it just, never seen anything like it. She's out there buying votes.
So, Minister, does he have a point? Is your government buying votes with this announcement?
So absolutely not. I mean, as I said before, I was appointed the minister responsible for early years and childcare more than a year ago. I've been working on this for some time. We certainly had announcements in the last budget. This is another budget coming forward. It is an important piece. It is something that families told me that they wanted. When we went out and held consultations across the province with close to 8,000 people, some of the things that they said was that they wanted more support, more affordable, accessible childcare, and they needed it as quickly as possible. And so once Dr. Cleveland did that study and came to us with what he thought would be the way for us to move forward, we decided to take that opportunity and to do it. And frankly, I have to say that when I talked to families out there and when we made this announcement today, there was an overwhelming sense of support. I mean, there were people in the room who were actually crying. They were so thankful that our government was doing this. And frankly, I was so proud to be the minister responsible for early years and childcare and to be able to have this opportunity to do what we promised we would do, which is transform the way we are delivering childcare in this province, because it is absolutely about building supports and putting an investment in our children, in families, and in a strong future.
You also promised balanced budgets, though, and your government is running a debt to GDP ratio of 40%. How can you afford this kind of spending?
So let me just start by saying we had a deficit, we wiped it out, we are now in balance, and we have a surplus. And so, you know what, governments have to make some choices sometimes, and sometimes those choices are not very easy ones to make. We chose on the side of people. We choose to support people, and we choose to build those supports in government that will give people a chance to really be able to reach their full potential and lead happy, healthy lives. I mean, I don't know what other parties are going to be doing, but that's what we're doing. We're choosing to support people. You know, not a day goes by when I don't talk to people either in the legislature, in my community, or just out there on the street. And what do they say to us? Well, I need help with this. I need help with that. And I really believe, like the Premier believes, that government is a force for good, that our job is to create those supports so that we create fairness and everybody gets an opportunity to really reach their full potential and be successful. And so this piece is absolutely about that. We are investing in people who are our resources. And bottom line, this is going to build our economy, because this is going to allow people to participate in the workforce when they want to be able to participate, when they need to, and they will have peace of mind. So it will support those workers who are out there. It will close the gender wage gap, because it was the #1 recommendation by that committee. It will give children a great start in life and allow us to have that transition from preschool onto full-day kindergarten, which we did successfully. But ultimately, in the end, it will also help to build our economy. And sometimes you have to invest in the future in order to build a strong economy, and that's what we're doing.
So, Minister, does investing in the future mean that tomorrow we'll see a deficit?
Well, investing in our future. So let me just be clear. Yes, we chose to go ahead and wind up in a deficit position. But to be clear, this government has wiped the deficit out before. We are now in a
And now you've abandoned that plan, though, have you not?
Not abandoning it all. Sometimes life is about difficult, hard choices. And in this instance, we chose on the side of people. And we really decided that we now have a path forward. We are planning again to be wiping out this deficit. So, you know, different people may choose to do different things, but
Sorry, when will you wipe out the deficit again?
So I believe that our Minister of Finance has a plan in place, and he will be talking about that in his budget, but he does have a plan in place to wind up taking us back to no deficit in the future.
I'm just wondering from an outside perspective, though, if you look at it from people living in Ontario, it seems kind of convenient that, you know, you're in a deficit situation and there's an election coming up, a surplus situation, an election coming up, so you're willing to spend money, and then later you'll go back into a balanced budget scenario. It's kind of hard to square that circle.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to make choices about what is going to really benefit the people in your province. And absolutely, sometimes those choices are not easy. And this was a choice that we felt was really on the right track. People need support. People need help in their lives. They face challenges every day. And they told us that they wanted to be able to do this, to be able to participate in the workforce with some supports in place. And we chose on the side of people. And yes, this will put us in a deficit position. But bottom line is we have a path to move forward ahead of that. And we've done it in the past. We have a good track record, and we plan on doing that again. And so it was a choice that we made to invest in people. And I'm very pleased with that and very proud of that.
Okay, thank you, Minister.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Up next, the leader of the Conservative Party, Andrew Scheer, is here. Why is the Prime Minister's India trip still on his radar, and will he keep up his delay tactics to pressure Trudeau on the issue? Those questions and more right after this.